Soon, ladies and gentlemen, soon we're going to see a lot more about PlayStation 5, a console that is still slated to launch on holiday of 2020. There's plenty of information right now in terms of when the big reveal event will be and how Sony is planning to kind of trickle in information about the console and its games as we kind of lead up towards the launch of next generation. So here is an article from Push Square published on May 26th, 2020, in which it discusses how the PlayStation 5 official website has been updated recently, which possibly suggests that there is an impending announcement soon. And here's what the website looks like. It reads right here, PlayStation 5 is coming, launches holiday 2020. And there is talk of lightning speed, harness the power of a custom CPU, GPU, and solid-state drive with integrated I/O that rewrite the rules of what a PlayStation console can do. Stunning games, marvel at incredible graphics and experience new PS5 features, breathtaking immersion, discover a deeper gaming experience with support for haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, and 3D audio technology. So it's all marketing kind of fluff, but we do get an idea for what exactly Sony is focused on with PlayStation 5. It's all about the games, the new architecture, and the immersion through the controller's haptic feedback and the 3D audio tech that they're heavily emphasizing in their marketing. That brings us to May 27th, 2020, which is yesterday as of the publishing of this video. Jason Schreier brought us this scoop in which he talked about when the next PlayStation 5 event will be, where they're going to focus on game reveals. So this is what he tweeted. Scoop, Sony is planning a PlayStation 5 game reveal event for next Wednesday, June 3rd. Gotta include the now standard caveat that plans can change abruptly during a pandemic, but this date is more firm than previous rumors. Clicking on the link will take us to a Bloomberg article, which is where Jason Schreier now works. So here is an article co-written by Jason Schreier and Takahashi Mochizuki that reads, Sony is planning a PS5 conference for as early as next week. So here's what the body of the article reads like. Sony Corp is planning a digital event to showcase games for its next-generation PlayStation 5 console that may take place as early as next week, according to people with direct knowledge of the matter. The virtual event could be held June 3rd, though some people also cautioned that plans have been in flux and that the date may change. Other PlayStation 5 events may follow in the coming weeks and months, and Sony is not expected to reveal every essential detail on the console during its first presentation. So from the looks of it, it's not just going to be one event where they're going to show everything, but rather they're going to plan things out over the course of time leading up to the launch of PlayStation 5, with this June 3rd event seemingly focused on the games that we can expect from the console and potentially some details about the hardware itself, maybe show what the console actually looks like. But it is stated right here that they're not expected to reveal essential detail or every essential detail on the console during its first presentation. So there's still going to be a lot more to be revealed about the console itself after this reported June 3rd event that is allegedly happening. This then brings us to other sources who are confirming this. Here we have a tweet from Jeff Grubb, who writes for VentureBeat. So if you look at his tweet, it says right here, slight update, Last of Us 2 State of Play, May 27th, which did in fact happen. June 2nd, Mel Gibson picture, whatever that means. And then right here he wrote, soon, PlayStation event between June 2nd and June 4th. And then in a follow-up tweet, he just flat out posted that the PlayStation event will happen on June 3rd. So that's multiple sources corroborating the same thing. And Jeff Grubb also wrote this article on VentureBeat, where he provided additional context and details about this event. The headline reads, not E3, Sony is planning a PlayStation 5 event for June 3rd. This was published on May 27th, 2020. And the body of the article reads, the PlayStation 5 is just months away from its holiday 2020 launch, but we still don't know everything about the device. That's going to change soon. Sony is planning a PS5 event for June 3rd, according to sources familiar with the company's plans. Bloomberg is separately corroborating that date, referring to the the Jason Schreier and Takahashi Mochizuki article. It's important to note that this is only the current plan. The company is trying to lock down its promotional efforts for the PlayStation 5, but it also knows it must remain flexible during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. While the June 3rd reveal should provide the best look yet at the PlayStation 5, don't expect Sony to give away every detail about its next-gen system. The company could withhold price and release timing for another date. The price for the PlayStation 5 is still especially subject to fluctuations. Sony wants to launch at a competitive price tag, but it also doesn't want to take a loss on hardware. In other words, we might see the hardware itself and maybe get a glimpse at some of the features that they're emphasizing with PlayStation 5, but essential details like price and release date may be saved for later, and that might have been what Jason Schreier was also referring to in his Bloomberg article. So they're all kind of saying the same thing. Everything seems to be lining up on that front. Obviously, it's hard to say for sure exactly what we'll see on June 3rd, but I feel like at this point they do have to at least show what the box looks like. I mean, they showed the DualSense, the new controller for PS5, not that long ago. It stands to reason that the next big reveal will be the box itself, and hopefully, the UI and again, some of the features that the software of the PlayStation 5 in conjunction with its new architecture will offer, etc., etc. Now, there's some suggestion here that Sony is still contemplating price point, that this hasn't been nailed down yet. I'm wondering if they're waiting for the Xbox Series X to reveal price first so they can then one-up them, or if they're just kind of keeping track of what manufacturing costs will be amidst the ongoing pandemic and the disruption that the world has seen. Regardless, price is not nailed down, and that's a big part for why we might not get a solid price point in June, but rather at a later date and event. The article then proceeds with, Sony also doesn't need to go too deep on any games it may show on June 3rd. The company's planning follow-up events. This includes a state of play that will focus on both next and current-gen games. That state of play has a tentative schedule of early August. Again, this could shift drastically depending on a number of factors. So that would be 2 months after the June 3rd event. So, it all kind of tracks. And finally, so then what will Sony show off next week? Expected to focus on what is possible in next-gen games with the PlayStation 5. The company seems aware of the backlash that Microsoft faced for its first Xbox 2020 event. Fans were unhappy with the lack of gameplay at the presentation. In response, Sony wants to rely on PS5 games that are actually running on real hardware. Hell freaking yes, definitely learn from Microsoft's mistake and show us gameplay, not cinematically filmed in-game footage, but actual gameplay of somebody playing the game that is representative of what the title will look like when we get our hands on the game. Definitely do that, Sony, and you will get lots of praise, because it feels like game companies are forgetting what the term gameplay actually means, with their marketing showcases of cinematic trailers. And it doesn't matter if that trailer was technically filmed in-game. It's not gameplay if the cinematic camera that they use to kind of spruce up the trailer, if that's not representative of what we'll see in the final product, then it's not really gameplay. Just show us straight gameplay, 5-10 minutes long, that kind of walks us through the game and really shows the game in action in its full glory, kind of like what the Ghost of Tsushima state of play did, or the recent Last of Us state of play. That also showed us plenty of gameplay. So do that. Definitely do that for PS5. It's good to see that Sony is paying attention to this stuff and taking in that feedback and adjusting and making sure that they present a proper showcase of true gameplay rather than something masquerading as gameplay or something that is kind of misleadingly advertised as gameplay. Moving on, here we have a statement from Takahashi Mochizuki, who chimed in just today at 12 a.m. May 28th. He said, I expect official reveal of PlayStation 5 design is near anyway because, as I wrote in this article, mass production is starting, and that means leak risk of console/console image. Given SIE trying to stay ahead of curve, reveal shouldn't be too far away. Remember what they did with PS5 DualSense controller, which also written in this article, and what happened to PS4 Slim leak. So it would seem as though Takahashi is saying that in this June 3rd event, while we won't get every single detail about PlayStation 5, especially as far as release date and price is concerned, it's very likely we might see the PS5 design because Sony wants to make sure that no leak can disrupt their marketing so that they can be ahead of the story and just reveal the damn thing before it is inevitably bound to leak in this day and age, in this digital age that we live in. And I think that's a good idea, and honestly, it's about time that they do this and really kind of increase the hype surrounding the console. The DualSense certainly raised some eyebrows and got people talking. I think the PS5 hardware design, showing that off, and if it looks really good, I think people will raise more hype for this, and then if they can reveal the games and do a good job of presenting actual gameplay and a good job of presenting some features and UI elements, I think, yeah, June 3rd should be a good day if they get this right. Now, as far as what games we'll see in this June 3rd PlayStation 5 event, that's obviously hard to say. I expect to see a mix of trailers that will announce what games are in development alongside gameplay of titles that are far enough in development that we can see a showcase of PlayStation 5's graphical capabilities and loading time capabilities and sort of new gameplay design paradigms that are being emphasized with the solid-state drive that kind of apparently opens things up greatly for developers to load in assets very quickly so they don't have to design worlds like a maze, but rather they can really open things up for players. Hopefully we'll see a lot of that shown in full glory. But while I cannot say for certain, it does seem as though at the very least we might be able to expect a Silent Hill reveal for PlayStation 5. Here's a series of tweets by Dusk Golem, or Aesthetic Gamer, who has been proven to be a reliable source of leaks for horror titles like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. And here's some information he provided about this Silent Hill game that is being developed to be exclusive for PlayStation 5 that Sony is working in collaboration with Konami. So here's the series of tweets which read, "Just to clear up some things about Silent Hill PS5 from what I know. 100% things. In 2018, Konami shopped around with different studios for 2 pitches to fund development of a reboot and an episodic Silent Hill game. I knew this from a personal friend and an email from someone separately. Neither got the job, but I know this as fact. In late 2019, a separate close friend in Japan informed me a Silent Hill game was being developed in Japan that had started dev at the start of 2019. So to lay the details of this put straight, it is developed by Sony Japan Studios and will be PS5 exclusive. So it is a Sony studio who is at the helm of this project, which is why it is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's almost like this second-party relationship rather than full-on third-party. It does seem as though Sony has a much more direct involvement in this title, despite it being an IP that isn't necessarily Sony's. Now, it reads right here, Toyama is directing, which is incredible to see. He is sort of the originator, the creator of the Silent Hill series, so him coming back is a very good sign. Akira Yamaoka is composing, Masahiro Ito is doing art. So this is also great news. Both Yamaoka and Ito are Silent Hill veterans, and it seems like they're really trying to bring back as much of the original team as possible to ensure that this game, is headed in the right direction. And then on top of that, various Siren, Gravity Rush devs, and some others are working on it. This has nothing to do with Kojima or Silent Hills. That probably is not happening. Damn it. Sony is not buying IPs. That's bullshit. There was some rumors about Sony going out of their way to buy like Castlevania and Metal Gear and Silent Hill. Apparently that's not true. The game is not a remake. It is a soft reboot made so it can be someone's first Silent Hill game. The game is playable and has a demo that will be shown around after reveal. The details of this are not murky. There should be no miscommunication. Just to lay that all out. If all true, I believe it though. Now, obviously, this is also rumor and speculation. Technically, saying that Silent Hill might be in that PlayStation 5 June 3rd presentation, that's also speculation on top of hopes that we might see the next God of War, a teaser for that, or the next Spider-Man, and whatever titles you might want to see for PS5. But given how reliable Dusk Golem has proven to be as a leaker, and given the general just corroboration surrounding this rumor from multiple sources, I get the sense that, Silent Hill could potentially be among those games that they plan to do a major blowout on for PS5. At the very least, I think they'll tease it. But if not, maybe we can expect this to be revealed at a later date. But it does seem like this is a real thing, a Silent Hill PS5 exclusive title. Very excited to see how this pans out, assuming it is true, though I think it is very likely that this rumor, there's some validity to it. But as far as what details we know right now, this is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Mark your calendars for June 3rd. If this is indeed happening, if Sony does end up announcing a June 3rd event, which they would have to do pretty soon, given that June 3rd is not that far away, I'll be sure to cover it, live stream it with you guys, react with you guys. I'll look forward to that. And I'm sure many people are curious to see what Sony has in store. So, yeah, mark that calendar. And if something changes in regards to that June 3rd date, which could happen due to the pandemic, I'll be sure to let you know. But yeah, until June 3rd, let me know in the comments below what your hopes and dreams are for this PS5 event, what you think about what you've heard in terms of Sony's plans for the June 3rd event, what they plan to showcase, and their focus on actual gameplay. Drop a comment below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.